Glasses. Yeah.
Just going to wait here a minute and wait for everybody to get in. Thank you for being patient, everyone. We have a lot of people just signing in, so I wanted to give everybody a chance to join us. And I guess we can begin. You ready, Claire?
Yay.
So welcome everybody to today's Thursday Live. I am Denise Armenio. I am a certified body code practitioner, certified quantum healing, bioresonance practitioner, and your genius biofeedback practitioner. And Claire and I are here to assist you and train you and help answer any questions that you may have with the genius, teach you some ins and outs, and also show you how I run a practical application or a session with the genius. So looking forward to sharing that with you every week. So this week, I didn't know if I know last week people wanted some help with custom playlists. Are people still needing assistance with custom playlists? If you can please answer in the chat, that would be really helpful. Also, there was some questions that someone had about, and Claire, you may want to answer this if you had a different perspective than me on how to not have some specific items in their libraries when they put them out. I don't know if you address that separately, Claire, or if you wanted to chime in
Right.
there on that.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was CC had mentioned it regarding sort of like adding all libraries to a client or not. And I'm happy to cover that.
Oh yeah, well that goes when I misunderstood what she said then, because that basically goes into when you go into the back office, whether you assign all libraries to someone or not, or you can delete them when you have them, and then the next time you go in they will be there again. I know it's always scary when you use that delete to take libraries out. I don't know if CC is here. I thought she was specifically meaning just specific line items that she just wanted to be able to kind of control if.
It was actually a bit of both. It was
Oh,
actually
okay.
both. So yeah, the line items would refer to setting up a custom playlist and then sort of like not having certain libraries added.
Okay, so why don't we today just go into that? We're getting a question here.
How can
Um,
we start over with a client?
how can we deleting all the playlists and then going in and just adding the ones we want? Okay, happy to do that. Easier to set up a custom playlist. David, I think, yeah, I think, David, that's a mix of both questions. That's what I had suggested actually to CC, was to set up a custom playlist. It is labor intensive because there you have to like search through every library and then find all the specific things. But if you use the same libraries all the time and specific items from specific libraries, it is worth the investment in your time to set it up that way. Let me just start sharing my screen. 1 second here. Okay. And whoops. Whenever I share my screen, I all of a sudden lose my chat page.
Larry.
Is Larry, are you in and are you okay? Are you referring to that you're just dialed in? Is that the wrong number that you're referring to?
No, when I go to, I've got some shared libraries and then I keep getting the wrong number on the bulk uh, download.
Bulk downloads. I'm just gonna pull up,
Importing.
no, I'm just gonna set up, I thought I had it set up Thursday live, but. And we're just gonna use today's date, which is April 4th. And yes, David, you're right. You can't delete any libraries that are shared with you once they are.
And that's libraries. Can I just say that there is a difference between libraries and playlists? You
Yes.
cannot, and this is maybe some confusion, but it needs clarification. Playlists, you create your own. You cannot import or export playlists.
Right. A playlist is just an easy way of like dragging and dropping into a main hold tray and just kind of uh that's your playlist. If there's something that you're going to put into the main hold tray all the time, it's just having that available so that you can do it. Does that make sense? A library is created from someone. So the library is what it is. A playlist is just accessing different information from the individual libraries and creating like a whole, something that you would put in the main hold tray or the quick zap as easy reference. I don't know if that helps explain it. So Julie, I would love to start over with libraries too, just add basics as I go. Okay, so let me just do analysis here. So one thing I do want to point out to you that if you do have custom playlists, let's say you already have them set up, and I already have them set up, and I think that you guys have seen this already. It may have even happened last week when you're working fast. Sometimes you don't realize it. But let's say I wanted to use one of my playlists here, and I was to just click on it. Until I did the begin analysis on the system overview page, but you need to do the begin analysis on the custom libraries before you can access those custom playlists. So just remember that. So if you hit where you think you made a custom playlist and nothing goes into the tray, don't think that there's a glitch or something's not working. You just didn't like upload all the information yet. Yes, David, it is a total pain setting up custom playlists when you have hundreds of libraries. I 100% agree. It's almost easier for me to just find that specific library and go in and access it than to. But if you use the same one all the time, like I said, it takes a little bit of upfront time, but then it's easier overall. So, you just have to figure out what's best for you. I do understand what Cece was talking about last week. Sometimes, people, number one, when I say people, clients, when certain issues come up on like line items, they get very anxious and they think that oh my gosh, do I need to go to a doctor? Like I had it just the other day, my um oh my gosh.
Mitochondria.
No, what is it with the blood clotting with the heart? Anyway, something showed up and they were like, do I need to go check that out? Do I need to like go to a doctor? But the question is, no, not what's coming up with the Genius is very accurate, but it's very accurate as far as identifying energetic disturbances. It's not, apples for apples as it showed up on the Genius. I have this physical ailment. So you need to be clear with yourself, also understanding that if you're working on yourself, but also that your clients understand, just because something might show up and whatever it is, that wording might sound kind of scary. It's not a diagnosis for that. It doesn't mean that they have it. It doesn't even mean, that just because that's in their field that they're at risk of having it. It just means it's in their field. I mean, if you think about just every day in nature, we are exposed to like, I don't know, probably millions of different viruses all the time. They're always around us. They're not going to affect us. And I'm talking at the physical aspect right now. They're not going to affect us if our immune system is strong and everything is working well. They're just kind of there and our body does what it's supposed to do, and it's past tense. Now, if there was a test to show every virus that showed that you were exposed to, there wouldn't be something for you to have to do. It's kind of like that energetically. I mean, the Genius is going to bring up all the different energies of the different viruses or the different bacterias that are in your field. But if our energy field is strong, we will be able to, they're not going to affect us. Your body's not going to, it's just like when you send frequencies, if your body doesn't need it, it's not going to take it in. Now, if it's out of balance and it continues to be out of balance, yes, then it can become a problem. So I hope that kind of explains a little better for some people. Okay, Larry, bulk share code keeps coming up wrong number. Okay, if you're being sent a libraries that say, you need to read the email really specifically, a bulk share. So if it's a bulk share, okay, if you were to import, here's a bulk and here's okay. If you're sent multiple libraries in black, like on the email, it will say bulk library share code. And then you will see underneath that, all the different library titles and all the different codes for each individual library title. If you want to import them all, it is expeditious to just use the one bulk code, but then you have to hit bulk when you put that in, so that the Genius knows it's a bulk share code. And when you copy and paste, just also make sure, like delete, make sure that there's no spaces in front of it. And that should take care of the problem. The other thing, only other difference is where a lot of times, Larry, you might get a wrong bulk share number is if it's a master branch and you haven't gone to master branch to import, because they're two separate things. There's libraries and then there's bulk master branch, and bulk master branch is set up to kind of be like the master branch is the book, the title of a book, and then all the different libraries are kind of like your chapters, and then the contents of each chapter are all your item information. And then so for example, like the bioterrain panels are set up as a master branch. That way, when people want the bioterrain, I just need to send them the master branch and not send them 37 panels every time. So it's set up to kind of organize the libraries, and also it makes it easier when you're sending them, that you don't have to like put in, check off 37 different panels. I only have to check off master branch name. So just that kind of, I hope that makes sense for you, Larry.
No, I know the difference there. I have the master branch with the biotrain. That one worked fine, but then somebody else shared another library with me, and it's the bulk share code. And they sent 4 or 5 different
Okay,
libraries.
so if you ever have where the bulk share code doesn't work, then try importing each individual code, but then just hit OK.
Yeah, okay, I'll try that. Thanks.
Try that. That has happened to me on occasion. That might be a glitch. Let me know if that works for you, and then I'll report it as a glitch again if that's your issue. Okay.
Thank you.
Pam, sometimes it is showing up if you are living with, and their energy may affect them too. Yes. Okay. So now we're kind of flipping back between different things. Yes, you can. Pam's 100% right. I might, when we're talking about specific items that people might get anxious about seeing, it may not even be mine. It might be somebody's I just absorbed, but you do want to clear it because it's showing up, because it kind of it didn't move right through your energy field. It kind of got stuck. So you want to help it. You want to balance it out so it moves on out. Okay, so David, yeah, that happens a lot. Sometimes things show up. Sometimes even for me, it says my gonads are out of balance. I don't have gonads, or it could be other issues, but it often it's usually referencing, if that were to show up for me, usually my testosterone hormone levels are off. So it's a hormone thing, and that's just how it's showing up. Or you could be absorbing it from someone else. So it's either one of those two things generally. If anybody else has had any experience, you can certainly put that in the chat, but that has been my experience. If the frequency is out of balance and you need it. So just work with it. I would work with it even though you don't feel like it pertains to you. Those frequencies, for whatever reason, are in your field. They are out of balance and they need balancing. Okay. So where are we? We're back to custom playlists, correct? Right, Claire? A little off here.
Yeah, and libraries.
So custom playlists. So here I have these showing up here because I have made custom playlists. If you have never worked with custom playlists, this is going to be a blank slate for you. And then you can go to the add button, and then you can just set up a title for whatever it is. So again, we can put test. Let's just put 424, and then you hit add items. And then if you look down on the bottom, if you do have libraries, this is going to have your complete list of all your libraries. So all your created and all your shared libraries. If you were to select the, circle next to the title name, it would add everything in that library into the custom playlist. If you want to just add specific line items, then you would have to, I don't know, we can go to affirmations. If you want, you can just go to one of these and add it, I am love, or love rose essential oil. Maybe you only want to work with those 3 every time. If there are, other specific things, that you want to work with. That's not a good choice because there's only, I don't know, let's just say it's certain allergy affirmations, and you can select specific ones for that you want to run on someone every time. This is really where you get to customize. You're not creating a library. It's just like a way of saving what you're putting into your main hold tray or your quick zap. So if you scroll back up to the top, you can then click the library again so you don't see all that. And maybe you want to go into your bio field. Now, for right now, there is a little bit of a glitch with meridians. So if you were to hit meridians or even the bladder meridian, it would put every single point in. So you just want to be careful because all the different points really chunk up fast. So you'll have hundreds of items in your custom playlist, and you probably don't want that. I mean, like anything, you don't really want it above 200 items in that playlist. So I would really kind of sort of avoid using meridians in your custom playlist. It's easier for you to get that desired thing just from if you went to the system overview page and added, let's say you just wanted the 12 meridians, just hit meridians and drag that right in. But it's not kind of ideally working how I would like to see it work, only because again, from the bladder meridian has so many points. If you just add that with a few other things, you're going to be over 200 items in no time. And does anybody have any questions as I'm doing this that you want to see? And I would well, here again, I have so many libraries, so this is going to be a case by case situation. I would never select this box for libraries because I have over 2,000 libraries to have whoops. To have every library selected, it would just look at the system is freaking out as it is. Like, I can't even do it. So I just oh, it's not happy right now. So hold on, guys.
Yeah,
so that's something you don't want to do. Especially maybe if you have less libraries, it's okay, but I just totally throw my genius into a frenzy. I don't know if I can get out of this now. I might have to close out. Okay, hold on, guys. I have to force quit. Sorry.
Yeah, so that's an example of what not to do.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. We're getting back online now. Okay, so while we wait for this just to come back. Okay, and I'm just going to load. This is an example of when you would load the current client results, right? Because I had to back out and escape out. But if I want to work with the same analysis that we had just come up with, I just hit load current client results. And we're right here. So so Larry's saying it must be a glitch. I have 387 libraries and numbers keep coming up. Wrong number. So again, Larry, even when you put in the individual library code.
Yes, even with the individual library code.
Have you tried uninstalling and reinstalling?
No, I'll have to try that.
I would try that.
And have
that
they
really shouldn't happen. There isn't like a problem across the board of people having this issue, so it's sort of isolated with you. So
Have they been sent to the right email address? Is it definitely the one that you use for your Genius?
oh, good point.
Yes. Yep. Same email.
Okay, I would try uninstalling and reinstalling again and see if that still happens. If it does still happen, then go to support at Inside Health Apps and have them help you with that situation.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds like it's a little bit of an isolated situation, so it's probably device
Or
related somehow or some.
check under shared, see if they're already there.
No, I think his problem is, oh, yeah, but it's giving him a wrong code message, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't, if it wasn't shared, it wouldn't be giving him a wrong code. I would try uninstalling and installing. So you've purchased libraries that you can't download, import, is what you're telling me.
Some of the shared ones, the purchased ones don't seem to be a problem, but some of the shared ones are a problem.
Can you explain that again? What do you mean?
I have the purchased ones that I purchased are fine. They work fine, but the ones that were shared with me don't work at all.
So friends shared libraries with you, in other words.
Yes, yeah.
And those don't work.
And those don't work, yeah.
And are they sharing from libraries they have certainly created, or are they from somebody else's created libraries?
I'm not sure where they got them from.
I don't think they would get a code to begin with if it wasn't their library.
I'm just trying to think whether some of the line items might have been somebody else's.
Does it make
I'm not sure. Larry, I do think
a
that's
difference if you import it under created or shared?
no. It's just where once it's imported, where you're going to view it. So anything that you import, you're always going to find it under shared.
Yes, yeah, all of them show up under shared, the 387 that I have, but the ones that I was shared with, that I don't know where they got them from, but they don't work.
Okay, again, I think that's a support issue. Okay. So going back to custom playlists, some of you had questions. Is there anything you need me to refresh or go over before I move on? We can do a short little balance here. Julie, are you good? Oh, you wanted to know how can we start over with a client? Okay, so that I didn't show you. So if we are on a client and we go into libraries, no. You would go into, I never do this, so I actually, hold on. Yeah, you can't delete it here, but if you go into libraries, right, Claire?
If you go back to custom libraries and the drop down top tab, so yeah.
Oh, delete.
Trash can, yeah. Tap that. It takes some time to come up.
So that would remove.
You can select all here, so it can remove everything, and then you can just, or you can. There you go.
Okay, so this, you could do a bulk delete on what you don't want to see.
Yeah, and if you tap bulk delete or select all on your top right, then it will populate the left-hand circles. And then if you want,
if you hit that, it would select all of these, but obviously if there's some, maybe you didn't want any of these
If there's some
addiction.
you wanted to keep, just then you would deselect.
Yeah, it doesn't let you, interestingly, it doesn't let you deselect once you select all. Whoops. So let's say you wanted to remove all, Claire, I think this has got a glitch in it.
It's relatively slow as far as this is concerned.
Because it can't be select all if you're in the delete can or bulk delete.
On
Kind
mine,
of the same thing.
okay, I think it's having an issue dealing with the amount
'Cause
of data.
we'll we'll go through this with Ryan, but if you're in the delete in the trash to begin with, if you select all, selecting all would be, to me, what you want to delete.
Yeah,
Bulk delete would be also deleting them all, but
yeah,
you should be able to individually select the specific ones that you don't want. So there is an option here. Clearly, it's not quite working as it should. And we will try to have this worked on and have that done. There's also what you can do. I'm just gonna drag some random things here into the main whole tray. Again, this is tedious, but suppose there are certain things that show up that you don't want to work with, you can delete them. Um, so if you're running and you want to work with all of these for a few seconds, but you say, you know what, I don't want this one in here anymore, you could take it out. You'd have to go back and add those things if you wanted it back in, but you can remove items that way. Julie, I'm not sure what you're asking. Are you talking about me deleting what I just did in Progressive Insights, or are you talking going back into deleting libraries? It would just be for this time if it were working correctly, but it doesn't seem to be working correctly. So, and then there's always the option that you can go into settings
yeah,
and you can unassign
yeah.
all your libraries, and then you would have to resync, right?
Yeah,
And then you wouldn't have any libraries assigned to anybody. With as many libraries I have, well, there's pluses and minuses to it, but anyway, that's another way you can do it. I have all my libraries assigned automatically, so whenever I start a new user folder, they're gonna have access to all my libraries. And again, for me, and this is just how I work, you guys are free to work. There's no right or wrong here, but I like having all my libraries accessible to all my clients because that's where your underlying causes are going to be. That's where your root causes are going to be in all those items that are blue. If you decide not to use them, you are not going to have all the frequencies that are potential underlying causes to you. So, there's trade-offs to not assigning and having a limited amount. When you only assign a limited amount based on, let's say, topic, you're also narrowing down the amount of underlying causes that you're going to be able to address. So do understand that when you select that. So okay, I think do we have more questions? I just wanted to go through, why don't we just do a quick balance and clear us all on this? So Rosemary, this discussion is helpful as I did not ever care to experiment with some of the functions. To see you operate some of these functions is great teaching. Aw, thanks, Rosemary. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just trying to help everybody see there's always more than one way to skin a cat. So a lot of times you have to know your client, I guess, but seeing so much can be overwhelming, but it also narrows down the field of the information that you're working with. So I don't know. Sometimes maybe don't let your client see don't do it on where they can see your screen, and maybe then it's easier. It does, and I have seen it become a little bit sometimes not of a problem, but when you send frequencies to the Quanta capsule, then a lot of times that's when clients tend to look through every line, and then they, start to think of, oh, well, what does that mean? Then that's showing up. And sometimes that does get a little complicated, just because we're also not here to explain every line, because honestly, every line item from every library, I may not know what the line means or what if it's in reference to. So it's just, again, an understanding and acceptance that you don't have to analyze every single item that comes up. At least that's how I work. I mean, sometimes you may want to work a little bit differently. But sometimes I don't even look at everything. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it doesn't matter to me what shows up, as long as I'm working with what the genius says I need to work with. And so for those of you that get overwhelmed, I would maybe try to adapt that way of thinking. So you don't have to understand why everything's showing up, and you don't need to have to explain to a client, although your client may want to know what it means, but it's just their frequencies. It's not a diagnostic tool. So that's the best way for everybody to stay out of that slippery slope, where we're not diagnosing, we're not treating, is to just send the frequencies. So with that said, I am going to clear the main hold tray. I have set up a custom playlist. I called it step 1. I did add other things in here. I noticed, I don't remember what they all were, because the primer is 167 now items. So anybody that has BioTrain, I did add an item to it. So it should be, I think, 167. I know, Rosemary, you're always on board with that. I think you asked me the question about that before, but I think it's at 167, I think. But I'm just going to play these frequencies now for everybody. And let's put it on 1 minute and select all. You hear the sound?
No. Yes.
Okay, so we're at 18%. So there were a lot of items here. I'm going to deselect, and I'm just going to work with the lows. And I'm going to work with those for 1 minute for everybody. rectification, and the range between the lowest percentage up here is 40 to the highest is 59. So we are within that 20%. So that is great. I'm just going to take us out of here to answer Pam's question. She is saying her bio train is saying only 164 items. I don't know if it will. You probably have not backed out and updated would be my guess, because I know for sure mine say it when you drag and drop the title here, and I'm going to bring it up to the quick zap, it says 167. So that means that there's 166 items in the library, and the library title makes it 167. So Pam, you have not updated. You have not logged out and done a sync and logged back in. Otherwise you would have that. So anybody, this is just a reminder that you should routinely log all the way out and log back in. Anybody who updates their panels or anything like that, you will not get any of the updates unless you do that. So we can go back to our main hold tray now, the progressive insights, and I am going to deselect the whoops. Let's just, and we can just select the highs, and let's just work with those for 1 minute. Okay, so we did really well here again. So the average percent rectification is 61%, and well, it goes from 47. It's a little over. So following the way I work with it, I would then run this again. I'll probably put it on 0 minutes so I can run it for about 30 seconds and see if we can get these high, the average percent rectification, hopefully above 40%, but have the range between the harmony, alignment, and energy flow be a little bit tighter. So okay, so now we're at 41%, and now that range is much tighter, and I'm much happier with that. So a 41% with that, with it being tighter, to me is a much better. 41% is better than having 61% and having that range be greater than that 20%. I don't know what you want to call that number. It could be a percentage, but does everybody understand that? Rosemary, I think what you're seeing, that inner synergistic circle, is because I am on my MacBook Air. I think that is a special, oh, Claire just put that in. That is a special gift for the MacBook that we get to see that. I don't know, honestly, I don't know why it is. I do like seeing it. I don't know if it's doing anything special, but that's just how it is. So I don't think that's like something that's going to be fixed unless everybody likes it, and then maybe Ryan can put it in on the phone and the iPad too. I don't know. But anyway, that's why it's shown. That's why you're seeing it on mine. There's nothing that I clicked to get that there. Yeah, yeah, it is different. I do like it. But it's nothing that I did specifically to have that there. Okay, so now we can get out of here and let's work on the general overview. You guys know I love this part so much. So I'm just going to click on general overview. Okay, so again, when I look at the general overview and I have all my libraries in there, I like to look at the lows. So I always go first to click on the 0 to 100. So it flips the view. Again, to me, the blues are your most important here. These are like your root cause, your underlying cause of your items. So again, this is all gonna be slightly different for everyone, depending on how many libraries you have. If you don't have so many, you might be able to add all the blues. However, for me, that is not the case, because just for argument's sake, I could show you what happens. If I were to add all my blue items right now, well, that's a lot less than I would have thought it is, but there's still 3,764, and you will completely overwhelm yourself if you try to send almost 4,000 line items. So I would never suggest that. So the next best thing you can do, in my opinion, is just add the bottom 50, or if you wanted 100, you can count and drag and drop 100 lines. Though these are all different ideas. None of them are wrong. You can definitely do it. I try to work with things that, aren't so, tedious with time, because it does take a lot of time to start doing that and counting down how many there are. But you do, be creative. You can work with that how you want to work with it. So I add the 50 bottom lows, and then I remove the library. And then now I just have the items that are from the system overview, all the blues, and I will add all the blue items. And then I'll run those frequencies for a little bit. So I'll put the timer on 1 minute and hit begin analysis. Okay, and then we can select all. So great. Again, we have a 45% rectification, and the low percentage is 40 to 54 is within that 20. So I am happy with that. I didn't ask everybody because we were getting into a lot of questions and answers in the beginning. I don't know what you, if you were having any aches or pains or stress or anything like that before, if you've noticed any improvement since we've just been running any of these. I would just be curious to see how you're doing in there after we've worked with the first 2 steps. We don't really have time today to work with any symptoms, but hopefully you've all enjoyed getting a little bit of a deeper dive or in-depth into custom playlists and working with the libraries. Does anybody have any questions before we Oh, Julie is saying she was having a bit of a low blood sugar day today and you're feeling better. Awesome. That makes me happy. And you're welcome, Karen. And I don't know if we looked at we never did this, but we can see what it looks like now. Great. I'm glad your back pain has alleviated. That's awesome. Remember to stay hydrated, everybody. We've been working with frequencies. And this actually looks pretty good. We still have the fuzziness, through the outside and in here. You can even see the fuzziness through. So there are negative energies in here. So again, I would recommend to anybody to work with that spiritual protection library as often as you can. If you have any other means to clear negative energies, to also help do that. Although, from what I've observed over the last year and a half, we're kind of swimming in a pool of negative energy. So again, just a reminder, it's important to clear yourself and everything around you if you can. And that helps, as that will just help. Karen, staying inside unplugged phone wrapped until April 8th. So, awesome. So yeah, everybody, a lot of big energies, around from now until the 8th. So yeah, a lot of solar flares and things going out. So you may feel, off or energized, however the energies affect you. Looking at the old version, this is actually not so bad. We went from being not grounded, like really not grounded, to being more grounded and bringing in that bright purple. So I like to see that. So anyway, I think that is all for us today. It's we are at the top of the hour. If anybody has anything that they would like me to go over next week, please, you can email me at Denise@Inside Health Apps, and I'm happy to dive deep in any area that you'd like to focus on. David, you're saying you can't sleep at the moment. You mean from all the with the eclipse and full moon and solar flares? So anyway, yeah, these energies are really high and affecting people. So just give yourself some grace and get in nature and stay hydrated. So anyway, have a great day. Claire, thank you for being here and assisting me in the chat. And thank you, everybody. As always, I love seeing your faces every week. And if you did not catch this live, you can always catch this on the replay. So bye for now. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Denise.
Bye.
Bye now.